Alright, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down every aspect of Alex Hormozi's $100 million personal brand. I'm going to be breaking down the concepts behind his rapid growth, his content strategy, his offer ecosystem, his personal brand ecosystem, but most importantly, how you can apply his success to your own unique business and more. For those of you who aren't super familiar with Alex Hormozi or what he's done, just know that his investment company, Acquisition.com, has a portfolio that's amassed over $500 million in enterprise value. His largest investment to date, School.com, which he's actually also a co-owner in, generates over $1.7 million in monthly recurring revenue from community owners alone, not even including the kickback they get from tens of millions of school memberships every month. And his world-famous $100 million book series has now sold over 1 million copies worldwide, just counting hardcover and paperback, not even including the millions of ebooks and digital copies they've sold. This is by far the most in-depth breakdown of the Hormozi business pipeline on the entire internet, so make sure you stay till the end and enjoy. So what I want to go over first is the concepts behind the success, right? And I know your dopamine brain probably wants to go straight into the weeds, right? Straight into his business pipeline, straight into his offer ecosystem, his personal brand ecosystem, his content strategy, right? But more important than all of that is the concepts behind the success, right? These concepts are the backbone for his personal brand, for the goodwill that he has built in the market, right? And these are concepts that Hormozi understands better than anyone else, right? And that's why he's so successful. Right? So I'd argue this is the most important part of the entire video, right? So let me go through the concepts, okay? First, the concept that Hormozi understands extremely well, okay, is the 7-hour rule, right? So in 2015, Daniel Priestley, who's also one of the smartest marketers in the world, by the way, shared one of the most powerful concepts in sales and marketing ever in his book, Oversubscribed. And the core premise, it takes 7 hours of cumulative interaction time between a lead and a company to build the necessary trust to want to buy your product or service, right? 7 hours of cumulative interaction time between a lead and a company to build the necessary trust for that lead to want to buy the company's product or service, right? And where Hormozi understands, but what most business owners don't, right, is that most business owners are stuck in this business flywheel, right? They're stuck in this business growth flywheel where for acquisition, right, they're buying leads, relying on referrals, doing cold outreach, working with agencies and running digital ads directly to their website or calendar page for consultation booking, where the prospect, right, on the sales call likely won't even have 7 minutes of trust built in them and their service, right? Let alone the 7 hours that they actually need, right? All of this leading to long sales cycles, low conversion rates, hard selling, and a perceived low lead quality when in fact it's not the lead that's low quality. It's the fact that lead is just simply not primed to convert yet. And on the back end, all of this leading to less revenue collected, less budget to grow the team and increase capacity, and less funds to acquire more leads and clients, right? What Hormozi understands though, okay, is that he needs 7 hours of interaction time. He needs trust with the market, right? So he doesn't have to do what most business owners are doing, and most business owners are failing, right? Because they're doing direct response, cold, okay, and to a non-trusted market, they're trying to acquire a non-trusting market, right? Instead, Hormozi focuses on building trust over a prolonged period of time, right? Through his personal brand ecosystem, right? Through his content, so that when it's actually time to make an ask, okay, they're receptive, right? They have the 7 hours built of trust needed, right? For it to become an easy sales cycle, for it to be higher conversion rates, and for those leads to somehow just be high quality, when in fact it's not them being high quality. It's the fact that they actually trust the service provider. They actually trust Alex and Layla Hormozi, right? He also understands market economics very well. He understands that at any given moment, okay, only 3% of the entire addressable market is actually active buyers, right? He understands that only 3% are actually ready to buy the service right now. He understands that the 97%, right, the ones that most coaches, consultants, and agency owners overlook, is the fact that there is the 97% that aren't ready to buy yet, right? They may have a need, but they're not ready to act. Or even worse, they don't even have a current need or current interest in the product or service in the first place, right? And the problem is that with the traditional client acquisition methods like referrals, cold outreach, buying web leads, and cold traffic ads, they only capture and retain the attention of the 3% of the market that's in buy now mode, right? And Hormozi understands that the 3% of the active buyers right now, okay, are not the same active buyers that are going to be there tomorrow, right? Someone who may not need Hormozi's service today may need it tomorrow, may need it next week, may need it in a year, right? So for Hormozi okay, builds up goodwill with the market, right? He builds up the 7 hours and some on average to build the necessary trust for that lead to want to buy the Hormozi's product or services, right? He knows that when eventually they do have a pain, right? When the 97% eventually do have a need, when they do have a pain point, and they are looking to solve that pain point, then they'll run to the person that they know can help them, which is Alex Hormozi, right? Because he's the industry expert, right? He's the authority of business, right? Because he spent so much time providing value completely for free without ever making a buying ask, right? Alex focuses on building the necessary trust with his prospects before ever asking them to make a purchase, right? Now he does this, okay? He does this all through his business pipeline, right? This is Hormozi's business pipeline, right? It starts with his personal brand ecosystem, right? Nurturing people through content, okay? And then monetizing that, right? Monetizing that personal brand through his offer ecosystem. So in this video, I'm going to be going through everything, right? Now that you understand the concepts behind it, now I can go into the weeds about his actual strategy, what he actually does, right? So it starts with his top of funnel content, right? And essentially this content is created for the sole purpose of going viral, right? And it's intended to bring in new leads into his personal brand ecosystem, right? So these videos have very, very broad interest targeting, right? So you can see some of the videos here that you've probably seen yourself, right? Like 13 years of no BS business advice in 79 minutes, right? Brutally honest advice for men to win in their 20s. Brutally honest advice to my younger, poorer self. And if I were single and starting over, this is what I would do, right? Super broad interest videos. Videos that almost anyone who's even slightly interested in business would be willing to click on, right? This video right here, this has nothing to do with business. This just has something to do with his relationship, right? And the reason he makes videos like this, okay, is to bring in a new audience, right? To introduce more people to Alex Hormozi, right? That's what it's meant for. Hormozi, all of his short form content, all of it's top of funnel, right? For you, it might not be. For you, your short form might actually, some of it may be middle of funnel, some of it maybe even be bottom of funnel, right? But for Hormozi, he understands that it's very hard to get 7 hours of interaction time built with just short form content, which is why his short form content is just designed to get people into his personal brand ecosystem in the first place, right? His Twitter, okay, that's top of funnel, right? His LinkedIn, that's top of funnel, right? And another thing that Hormozi does really well is he does a great job at repurposing his shorts, repurposing his top of funnel content so that it's everywhere, right? His Twitter, okay, his tweets get put into LinkedIn posts. His LinkedIn posts get put into Instagram Reels, or rather his tweets also get put into Instagram Reels, right? The Instagram Reels get made into TikToks. The TikToks get made into YouTube Shorts, right? And sometimes, okay, if the tweet is something that he wants to elaborate on, the tweet gets made into a YouTube video, right? It's all a funnel. Hormozi's super focused on being cognizant and being everywhere in social media. So you can't miss him, right? You can't miss him, right? Now in terms of CTAs, okay, Hormozi very, very rarely has CTA as the top of funnel content, right? But if he does have a CTA, that CTA is just going to be to another YouTube video, right? It's going to be to another top of funnel YouTube video, okay? Or it's going to be to a related middle of funnel video, right? So maybe there's a top of funnel video that somewhat relates to a middle of funnel video, right? So maybe he'll funnel you down that way, or maybe, okay, he'll just put you to another top of funnel content video, right? Hormozi, I'll talk about this later, but Hormozi will never, ever, okay, funnel anyone or have a CTA straight from top of funnel to any of his offers, right? Even the low ticket ones, right? Because he knows that he needs the 7 hours of goodwill built up. That's why his CTAs are literally just some more videos, right? Videos to videos to videos to videos, because he wants to build up goodwill, right? But then this is middle of funnel content, right? And this is content created to solve problems at a high level, right? And it's intended to nurture the new leads in his personal brand ecosystem that were brought in from the top of funnel content, but filter out those who aren't the Hormozi's ICP, who aren't Hormozi's ideal customer profile, right? So again, I said that this was solving problems at a high level, right? So when I say high level, I mean like very above the weeds, okay? Not going over super specific niche problems, right? That's what bottom of funnel content's for, but going over general concepts, right? And problems that business owners may be facing from a high level, right? So for example, okay, stop being broke, get busy, right? This talks about scalability, right? And time management, okay? 4 steps to unfuck your business, right? This goes over traffic, conversion, pricing, and retention, all from a high level, right? The concepts behind it, right? This goes over personal branding. This goes over sales and the concepts behind sales. So not a sales script, okay? Not a direct sales training even, right? But the concepts of sales, right? 7 ways to get people to buy more times, ascension rates, right? Giving away free stuff will make you rich, the importance of giving free value, right? Going over broad problems, broad topics, and going over them from a high, or not very broad topics, I'd say going over more specific problems, but going over them from a high level, right? Like traffic is a specific problem, but it's going over from a higher level, right? That's the middle of funnel content, okay? Now this has actionable value, right? What Hormozi does better than anyone is he actually provides actionable value that people can apply from the middle of funnel content, okay, into their business. For most people, they don't actually get any actionable value until they actually pay for the person's service, right? Or until they're at the very, very bottom of their content funnel even, right? Best case scenario. For Hormozi, his middle of funnel content even gives actionable value. Even his top of funnel content gives actionable value that people can apply. And that's why Hormozi has so much goodwill built up, right? In terms of CTAs, most of the time, Hormozi has so much goodwill built up by this point, right? He doesn't even need to get to the bottom of funnel content. A lot of times he'll just have CTAs, okay? Sometimes to other middle of funnel videos, right? Sometimes even to bottom of funnel videos, okay? But a lot of times he'll just have a CTA straight to school.com, right? And he can do that because for a $99 price point, he has way more than 7 hours built up by this point, right? Let's go to bottom of funnel content now, okay? This is the content that's created to solve a very specific niche problem that a business owner may face, right? A very specific niche problem that someone has to be looking for, right? This content has a very high barrier to entry. It's very hard to just stumble upon, the free training that he has at acquisition.com. It's very hard to stumble upon any of his podcasts even, right? Or at least maybe not stumble upon, but actually listen and watch the entire podcast, right? And this is intended to nurture warmer leads in his personal brand ecosystem to move them closer to a buying decision, right? And these videos have, again, actionable value, but also very technical resources, right? Very in the weeds, very specific resources, crutches, systems, right? That people can apply, right? So let me actually show you some of these. So I think what Hormozi does really awesome, again, is providing so much free value. So he actually has an entire free course, believe it or not. You guys should check this out if you haven't seen it, right? Of straight offers and straight leads.
Welcome, my name's...
Right? College level lectures, right? Literally college level classes completely for free. Hormozi in front of a whiteboard, going over everything you need to do to create a really, really strong offer, right? Even giving you free resources. Look at this, right? A free pricing and value checklist, like literally college level, right? Let's look at leads as well, okay? The cold outreach playbook, right? Like I said,
just covered how to monitor
college level, cold outreach scripts, right? Look at that. This is something that people often, okay, have to pay thousands of dollars from other gurus, right? Hormozi gives it out completely for free, right? Paid ads playbook, more, better, new, all of this stuff, all completely for free on acquisition.com, right? He also has a newsletter, right? Newsletters, and believe it or not, copy, okay, is also part of your content, right? And in these newsletters, okay, what he does, okay, is he focuses on, again, providing more value, right? And building a relationship. I'll talk about that in a second with this other one. But literally, this one right here talks about how he trades his time for the most money, right? Talks about his productivity schedule. Talks about makers versus managers, right? Look at all that. Look at all that. Look how much value there is in there, right? On this one, okay, he's building a relationship, okay? Too many people, too many gurus just focus on literally just providing value all the time, right? But they become a robot, right? They have no soul, right? Hormozi, on the other hand, focuses on building a relationship, right? Which is why he's updating his followers on what he's focused on right now, right? And it's the money hack, okay? Something you can do right now to ROI this email, right? Just win. Building a real relationship with them, right? This one's just promoting a YouTube video, but Hormozi's been vocal that he's trying to get more newsletters out, right? You can sign up for this, by the way, also. Bottom of funnel content. Super hard to just stumble upon his newsletter. You have to actually be deeper inside the funnel. You have to be on acquisition.com's page, right, to learn more, right? His podcast, okay? His podcast, you could argue, are maybe even middle of funnel, right? But for some of them, right, the power of lead magnets, a very specific problem, right? How I wrote a #1 bestseller, right? A very specific niche industry story, right? And the awesome part about Hormozi, for a lot of his stuff, it's hard to determine where it is, right? And that's why his pipeline is so good. When it's very difficult to tell where each piece of your content lies in the continuum, That's when you know you're doing a great job at seamlessly integrating everything. All right, seamlessly taking your prospects through the awareness continuum, right? Making them problem aware, then product aware, then solution aware. Hormozi does it seamlessly, right? Some of his YouTube videos, right? Like Stop Losing Customers, Fix This Now, a full case study, right? And How to Sell Better Than 99% of People, a 4-hour ultimate guide, okay? These aren't even bottom of funnel videos for him. For most people, a full case study on a very specific problem like onboarding, or a full 4-hour training, a free ultimate guide, right? For most people, that's bottom of funnel for them. But for Hormozi, it's maybe even middle of funnel, you could argue, right? That's how much value Hormozi provides. For most people, right? For most people, Hormozi's top of funnel content is their middle of funnel content. For most people's middle of funnel content, that's the bottom of their funnel content, right? For most people's bottom of funnel content, that's their high ticket offer, right? Hormozi focuses on over delivering through every single step, every single part of the continuum, right? Every single part of the pipeline, he makes sure is better than all of his competitors. And that's why he's so successful, right? So that's his personal brand ecosystem, okay? So for the bottom of funnel content, okay, usually at this point, if they're at the bottom of the funnel, right, he doesn't even need to CTA to school.com, right? They already know about school.com. They're already way warm enough for school.com. He doesn't even need to remind them of that, right? Sometimes you'll actually have CTAs to acquisition.com workshops, right, which I'll go over in a second. But let's go over first the offer ecosystem, right? The first part of the offer ecosystem, rather, which is the low ticket offer, okay? And that's school.com. Now, essentially, how he fulfills on school.com, okay, is through DIY elements, right? Do-it-yourself elements. Now, there's 3 different ways to fulfill, right? You have DIY or do-it-yourself. You have done with you, right? And you have done for you, right? DIY, DWY, and DFY, right? School, okay, is DIY fulfillment. So it's super hands-off for Hormozi, okay? But with that being said, okay, he's still sharing his insights, okay? He's still making sure that people are getting results. So Hormozi, right, actually just invested in school. He invested in school in January, okay? And the reason he did so is because he knew that he needed something that could capture a lot of his addressable market, right? That maybe wasn't at the point to get to a scaling workshop, right? Which I'll go over in a second, right? But he knew he needed an offer that could target, right? That could serve the market that he's built up, right? For people that may not have a successful business yet, but are looking to start a business, right? A lot of his content, okay, goes about starting a business, right? So he knew he needed something that could serve that market, that could serve that avatar, right? Which is why he came with school.com, where Sam Ovens came to him and Hormozi said, I'm in, right? And essentially the idea of school.com is to help people start businesses so that they can eventually, right, get to a point where they have a successful business, right, where they can go to Hormozi for even more help, right, through a scaling workshop and eventually through a high ticket offer in the acquisition.com portfolio company, right? So I'll actually show you what's inside the school games, right? So in there you have instructions, how to actually get started and build your business, right? And also, Hormozi's one-day recording. So the top 10 people that actually win the school games every month get flown out to the school games headquarters, right? To the school HQ, right? And there, he answers very specific questions, right? Very specific questions that different community owners have, right? About their own business and how they can go about scaling. And Hormozi, okay, gets these videos recorded. He records these videos and repurposes them and simply puts them into the school games classroom, right? So that everyone can benefit from it. It's not just the very small portion of people that win, right? Everyone can benefit from it. He also has weekly calls, right? Every week he'll have a Q&A, right? A Zoom call, right? And he'll repurpose that and, again, also put that into the Hormozi Q&A recordings in the classroom, right? Hormozi over-delivers. Again, for $99 a month, this is more than what most people could ask for, right? More than what most people could ask for. That's the power, okay, of over-delivering in every step of the process, right? Because people win the school games when he over-delivers, right? When you over-deliver on the value, people see results. When people see results, not only do you get word of mouth and get more people to convert, right? But you also get people to hear the mid-ticket offer, right? This is a long-term play. From my knowledge, he hasn't gotten anyone that started off on school to a workshop yet, but it's a long-term play for Hormozi, and eventually he wants to get people, okay, who start businesses from school, right? And eventually are looking to a point where they want to scale even further, and they want more consulting, right? It's still DIY fulfillment. Hormozi's still not doing anything for them or with them, but he's actually consulting them now in a way, right? He's giving them actionable advice specific to them, right? So it's more of a consulting style, right? Because Hormozi, Alex and Layla Hormozi are there, and the teams behind Hormozi are there, right? His CFO is the different directors in his team. They're all there, and they're all doing different breakout groups to help the people that are there at the workshop solve their very specific problems, right? And the idea of this is to help the potential portfolio companies get to a point where they're actually ready to be acquired and invested in by the Hormozis. Before I go into that, let me show you a little bit of the funnel that's there, right? So I actually already filled out the application, but essentially if you go to acquisition.com, right, and you fill out an application on their page, I'll actually show you what that looks like real quick. Right here. So when you go to the acquisition.com landing page, right, and you go about like answering this application and these questions, right, put my name in real quick. I'm showing you live funnel hacking, guys. Love it. Put in a fake phone number. Please go through. Send an email. Shine@operator.io. Okay, and it gives you an option, right? How do you want to scale your business, right? So you can go into either a workshop or paid custom help or training in a free online course, right? So when you go to this workshop, paid custom help, right, it redirects you to right here, this landing page like I just showed you, right? And essentially, okay, here what he does is he gets you booked on a calendar where a member of his team, okay, pretty much sells you on the workshop, right? Now Hormozi, right, does something that a lot of people don't do for $5,000, right, which is tell you the price up front. And the reason Hormozi does this and the reason he's able to do this is because he's provided so much goodwill in the market that he knows that $5,000 is way more, or rather way less than the goodwill he's provided, right? The goodwill he's provided is now much more than $5,000 at this point. If you're at this point in the funnel, you've already received more than $5,000 of value for him completely for free, right? Which is why saying the price up front for 5K is not something that Hormozi's worried about, right? He'd rather just tell you the price up front so his team isn't wasting their time with broke leads or unqualified leads who don't know the price of it up front, right? And this call is literally just a credit card collecting call. That's all it is. People on the call are literally just collecting card information because they're so warm. They're so ready to buy because Hormozi's built up so much goodwill, right? But again, you fill out this application. Let me actually show you what happens when you do so. 2:30 p.m. I already got some stuff in here. Put in a fake phone number. I've known Hormozi for 90 days. I own a business, and I schedule an event. Let me show you what it looks like when you schedule. So look, I get scheduled with a member of his team, right? And Layla,
if you're watching this,
is right here with the thank you video, right? And essentially this thank you video, okay, is first getting you prepared for the acquisition.com workshop, but it's also getting you warm to the idea of becoming eventually an acquisition.com portfolio company, right? She talks about the benefits of becoming a portfolio company, right? She talks about why they're actually doing the workshop in the first place, right? Which is to actually find and prospect potential portfolio companies that they think that they see a lot of potential in, but are struggling and that they think they can really help get to the next level, right? So calling out their ideal customer profile for acquisition.com, right? That's what Layla does in this video, right? Warms them up, lets them know the reason of the workshop, right? So they're informed, okay? Again, gets them hyped for the workshop as well, okay? Gets them hype before the call so they're actually ready to make a purchase, okay? Yeah, that's kind of what they do for the acquisition.com workshops, right? And in the acquisition.com workshops, there's breakout groups, there's Q&As, there's guest speakers, right? All over-delivering, much over-delivering and some for $5,000, okay? And eventually, right, the idea is Hormozi's, they meet the potential investment companies, rather, at the workshop, okay? And the ones that are potential, that they see potential in, they help get to a point, right, where they're ready to be made into a portfolio company, right? So the Hormozis actually only invest in companies that make over $3 million annually, right? So the idea is they come to the scaling workshop, right? They get the direction, they get the help that they need, so they can scale to $3 million a year and beyond, right? So they can eventually become an acquisition.com portfolio company, right? How they fulfill on acquisition.com, okay, is they actually implement their entire scaling infrastructure to grow the portfolio company, right? This is very done with you, very done for you even, right? By incorporating systems, right? The trial tested systems that the Hormozis have developed, okay, through their numerous different companies that they've built and sold, right? They also place talent, right? They also place members of their own team into these businesses to help them grow, right? They make entire marketing teams. They make entire sales teams, right? They almost make it done for you in a way, right? And they make their money here through the revenue they generate, right? A percent share of the revenue they generate, right? So what you've just seen, okay, is the entire business pipeline of the Hormozis, right? I even forgot to mention there's more to their offer, right? Hormozi even slings offer on the sides, right? He has like some side hustles, if you will, right? Like his speaking request, okay? He charges $100,000 for an hour of his time at a speaking event. Think about that. $100,000 for an hour of his time at a speaking event. And I don't even know the podcast price, right? The podcast price might even be more, right? Because you're able to reach a larger group of people, right? And Hormozi, he leverages his insights from years of business experience and his name, image, and likeness to make money from simply speaking about what he already knows. Simply speaking his mind and sharing his insights, right? But more importantly than the money for Hormozi, though, right? Even more important than the 100 grand he's getting, okay, is the growth and exposure this also brings in, right? If he's speaking at a big conference, right, the growth and exposure, okay, gets people into his business pipeline, right? Or if he's going on a podcast with millions of monthly listeners, that brings more people into his business pipeline, which is even more important to him, I'd assume, than the money he's making from them, right? I didn't even mention the book series, the $100 million leads and $100 million offer books, right? Hormozi makes passive income from these for something he created once. He created it once, okay, but now sells it millions of times, literally millions of times, right? And the book, get this, the book is so good that its concepts will live on for years and market itself. Similar to other bestsellers like How to Win Friends and Influence People and Think and Grow Rich, right? Hormozi doesn't run ads for these books. He doesn't even promote these books in his content, right? These books literally are just a testament to how powerful word of mouth is when you have a really, really good product, right? Think about books like How to Win Friends and Influence People. Think about books like Think and Grow Rich. The people that made these books have been dead for years, right? They don't need to market them. They don't have any advertisements running for them. But the book is so good and the concepts are so powerful that it lives on for years and years, right? And the book itself, okay, again, maybe even more important for Hormozi, is the book itself acts as a nurturing tool, right? Moving people along the business pipeline, right? So maybe a new business owner who's not familiar with Hormozi hears about this book, right? From one of his friends who read it, right? He reads this book, learns more about Hormozi, watches some of his content, watches some of his bottom of funnel content, eventually goes to an acquisition.com workshop and eventually becomes a portfolio company, right? The important thing here is the fact that it brings people into the pipeline itself, right? And what you need to understand, okay? What you need to understand is that Alex Hormozi has such a reputable personal brand, right? And so much goodwill built up in the market that this funnel isn't even super accurate, right? It's not even a direct like pipe in a way. There's actually sometimes where people jump, right, from one part of the funnel to another part of the funnel, right? A lot of people, okay, will often just jump straight from the middle of funnel content to school.com, right? They won't even need to view the bottom of funnel content, right? Hormozi's over-delivered so much on middle of funnel content that $99 a month is nothing. They'll jump straight from middle to low ticket, right? Some people will even jump straight from bottom of funnel. A lot of people actually will jump straight from bottom of funnel to mid ticket, right? It'll be people who already have businesses, okay? They don't need to like start a community or start a business, right? So the bottom of funnel content is more than good enough to get them into the mid-ticket offer, right? Some will even go straight from bottom of funnel, okay, into acquisition.com, right? Which is rare, right? Most acquisition.com companies, Layla Hormozi said this, actually come from people that come to the workshops first and then become a high ticket acquisition.com portfolio company, right? But also they have like 3 or 4 portfolio companies, I believe, that were people who just watched Hormozi's content. Think about this. These are $1 million companies generating at minimum $3 million a year, found so much value in Alex Hormozi's free content that they were willing to let them invest, that they actually filled out an application, hopped on the call with an advisor, okay, so that they could get the direct help from Alex Hormozi. Think about it. These are $1 million companies. These are not small companies that are just starting out. These are $1 million companies that got so much value from Hormozi's free content, right? That they were willing to fill out an application and become an acquisition.com portfolio company, right? And let them invest not only their time, but also their money give a percent share of the revenue of their entire business to these people they got value from for free. That's what makes Hormozi so powerful. Okay? Hormozi also, right, runs warm direct response ads to the school.com sign up page on Meta, right? So Instagram and Facebook, allowing some people to even go straight from top of funnel to school, right? Which is crazy, right? Top of funnel content straight to your paid program, that's almost unheard of, right? But Hormozi, he's built up so much goodwill. His top of funnel content, like I said, is most people's middle of funnel content. So what he can do, right, is he can just run Meta. He can just run direct response Meta ads, right? Like warm direct response ads that go straight to the school.com sign up page, right? And the offer of school.com is so good, right? Where you get a 14-day free trial that people say yes to it, right? That is the power of a personal brand and the power of building up goodwill in the market before asking to make a purchase. Believe it or not, Alex Hormozi once had a 36x ROAS on cold traffic ads. Think about that for a second. 36x. Despite that though, he has now stopped running cold ads entirely and spends $70,000 a month on building his personal brand with content instead. But this personal brand and social funnel very likely brings his ecosystem tens of millions worth of leads every month. He helps people get started with business through his top of funnel content, middle of funnel content, and the school games. He helps them scale with the bottom of funnel content and acquisition.com workshops. Also that they can eventually become profitable enough where they could potentially become a portfolio company. Even before creating content though, Hormozi was already a multi-millionaire. So if he was already a millionaire, ask yourself why he now spends 30 hours a week strictly creating content. That's half of his entire work week. Well, it's because he understands better than anybody. To stand out in today's digital world, you have to have a personal brand and a face attached to the business. Because trends, viral formats, and blue oceans come and go. But the one universal rule in business, that people buy from people who they know, like, and trust, will always stand. So if you're looking to start or scale a personal brand and create an offer with an ecosystem that can serve you for the rest of your life, then head to the video you'll see pop up on your screen right now to view a free training on exactly how you can do so, and subscribe for more.